Rugby Players Ireland, I guess, I suppose to rewind things for a moment, players associations generally, why do we exist in the game? What is our role? How do we make it more clear about not only who we are, but what our mandate is? We call ourselves Rugby Players Ireland. It says what it is. And we then thought, well, that's who we are. What do we do? Let's be very clear about what we do as well. We have three main arms of our business. We have our trade unionism arm, if you like, for want of a better expression, which is why we started, which is the represent side. We help players with insurance issues, tax issues, legal issues, medical issues, pensions, etc. So that's represent. Develop, we've grown in the last 6 years from one player development manager to five, one at each province and one with the women's game. Develop's so important. It's so important because we don't want to hold these guys' hands. We don't want to spoon feed them. We want to empower them, but in order to empower them, we need to have people who are there to show them the way and say, listen, this is what it is to be an upstanding citizen outside of just being a rugby player. This is what it is for you now, but this is what it is for you in your 30s when you retire and where you need to progress to. And we empower guys to make their own decisions, to make strong decisions in their lives. We help them with their mental health. We help them with all aspects, their finances, their personal brand, and of course their education and their career pathway. The third element in all of this is engage, and it's one that we've done for years, but we've started to articulate the last couple of years a lot more clearly, and that's the corporate engagement and the community engagement. Corporate engagement, we have a sponsorship arm, yes, and we thank our sponsors, I did earlier, but we do a lot more with our partners than that. We bring players into engagement opportunities where the player gets an opportunity to network, to potentially gain mentors, to potentially have career opportunities down the line. And that engagement at a corporate level is so important. The community engagement level, Tackle Your Feelings, has been a huge element of our business in the last year or two. It's a public mental health campaign, public facing, where we're using these guys as spokespeople to send such a powerful message and such an important message in people's lives. And of course beyond that, all other aspects of community engagement. So represent, develop, engage is what we do. Rugby Players Ireland is who we are. Finally, what is our vision? To be the best place in the world to play rugby. If that's achieved, players are happy, the game's thriving, the game's doing well, which is our two primary mandates, player and game. And if we can achieve that ourselves, if we can help the IRFU achieve that, then we're all in a much stronger place. On the pitch, off the pitch, we need to be world class. And for a small country of 4.5 million people, I'm proud to be part of the movement of Irish rugby, and I'm proud to be part of Rugby Players Ireland. What are your comments, and how do you feel this organisation has grown over the years as someone who's been part of the various steps along the way?
For me personally, just that the Munster team has moved to one centre. I get to see all the players in one spot rather than having dead time in the car. So the developments across the board with the game and the way Rugby Players Ireland has adjusted to it and seen the demand for a player development manager with every team, I think just shows you how we've evolved as an organisation and responded, I suppose, to the demands of the players and what they're looking for. And you know, I think the other element of our game is the past players. That element of our organisation is growing every year. Every time a player leaves, you know, and you try and help those guys as best you can. But they're also great guys to feed back to the current players the difficulties in that transition. You know, some guys need that reality, warts and all, how tough it is. Some guys can take to it really, really well, but other guys find it difficult. And I think it's important that we're talking about that, and that kind of feedback from those past players is hugely important, and it helps my job as well.
Yeah, I suppose from our point of view as players, very simply, we want to train and we want to play rugby, and we want kind of that sole approach, and having that collective voice allows us, you know, we're lucky enough that we have that to represent us, to look after any player welfare issues. You know, there's occasionally there's hot topics, concussion, season structure, all these things. We don't have to worry about them because we know we're in safe hands. So we're lucky with that approach. We can just worry about playing rugby and doing what we do best.
The develop side, what comments do you have there, Paula?
Yeah, I suppose there's probably two parts of it. As Marcus was mentioning, it's that transition out of rugby and to know that there is life after rugby, I suppose, and that people want to develop their career. So to have kind of Rugby Players Ireland there as a resource, as Andrew's mentioning, as kind of a safety net or as a guide to help us to develop, whether it's in terms of career. Obviously, we're amateur at the moment, so we obviously have careers alongside rugby commitments, so it's about kind of balancing the two. And then there's so many services available to us through Rugby Players Ireland and through Nancy that we can avail of in terms of different things, like whether it's counselling services, whether it's any aids in terms of career guidance or anything like that. So it's really fantastic for us to have that representative voice and that resource there for us to access, whenever needed.
Why is it so important for our players in the community to not only to advance their own career aspirations, but to be seen as role models and to be out there advancing rugby in the community?
I suppose one of the benefits, or one of the things that comes with being a professional rugby player and having a certain amount of profile, is that I suppose opportunities arise to engage with different charities and parts of the community. And I think as an organisation, Rugby Players Ireland has facilitated that in different things. Board match was one of the things allowed, I suppose, give an opportunity to players to sit on the board of a charity and get involved. I suppose for me, it's always been something that's kind of been completely different environment to the rugby environment, and I suppose just from a balance point of view, is something that I always felt I got a lot from. Obviously, you mentioned the Tackle Your Feelings campaign and the success that we've had with that. I suppose, again, it's allowed us as an organisation to have a positive input on something that's a massive issue in Ireland, mental health. So, there are just a couple of different things that we've done as an organisation that have, I suppose, allowed us to engage with the local community.
At the moment we've got some outstanding coaches throughout the provinces and national team, and now we've got some great structures off the pitch, and it's important that as players to perform on the pitch, off the pitch needs to be as well structured and developed, and the Rugby Players Ireland, I think the best thing about the name is that it encompasses all the players, so if you come from New Zealand or Australia or South Africa, you're looked after as well as the Irish players. You're able to develop and progress through your rugby career so that you're ready at the end of it, whether you're Irish born or not. And like I said, if you're happy off the pitch, you're performing better on it, and Rugby Players Ireland has played a huge part in that for all of us. And it's I know you said you don't hold our hands or spoon feed us, but I think all the staff very much do. If you ring them at any stage of the year and ask them to help you along the way with, if it's doing a new course or accommodating you to go and do a nighttime course, they very much do hold your hand through it and put you in the best position possible. So it's like I said, I can't see many more areas where we can go to make it a better place to play rugby.
I appreciate it. Cheers. Well, you might as well stay while Rob's up here. So thank you all for coming today.
Thanks, Omar. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And we look forward to working with you as supporters of rugby in Ireland to work towards making our vision that Ireland be the best place in the world to play rugby a reality for present and future generations of rugby players in Ireland. So thank you very much again for your time today, and onwards and upwards. Cheers.